Hey, we're live. First time ever. And this is very impromptu. We didn't think we were going to go do this. But welcome to the stream. I'm your host, Michael, and this is my other host, my brother, Matthew. Yeah, if you've watched,
Howdy, everyone.
if you watched our first video, then you're very familiar with the both of us. And we're going to discuss The Mandalorian's latest episode today. The reason I wanted to do this was because I watched it this morning, and I was just blown away. It's honestly some of the best television I've seen in quite a long time. And I'll throw it over to you when we come to our first overall opinions, and just let's get the ball rolling and just kind of give up our first sort of spoiler-free opinions of what you thought of it.
I liked it. I didn't like it as much as the previous episode. Are we going to talk about what we think about The Mandalorian as a whole first as well?
I think we need to obviously play catch-up because we're a new channel, so we're just kind of coming in the middle of the series. So it would be a good idea to sort of give your overall opinion of what you think of the show from season 1 to this point.
All right, general thoughts of the season is it's one of the best things to come out of Lucasfilm past 20 years. It's way better than any of the movies that have come out recently. The first season, thoroughly enjoyed. There was some slow episodes, some exceptional episodes, and I love the fact that a series was brave enough to go back to the scenario of standalone episodes. They didn't feel that everything had to be one continuous story. That was a refreshing change, and I think my highlights of the last season were the prison ship episode, and definitely the season finale. But also the first episode with the introduction to Mando. That was all very well done. So the first season was great. I was really looking forward to the second season. And so far, it's been as good, if not slightly better than the last season. First episode was awesome. I hate when people use this term filler episodes. And that's because we're so conditioned now into having everything has to be linked. All the episodes have to be like one gigantic story, and it doesn't. I like the fact that they're chapters, and you can have independent stories within chapters with a running theme. So this season, really enjoyed the first episode. Second episode was. I probably think the episodes with the frog lady with the eggs were probably the weakest episodes of the season so far. I'm liking the connective tissue of the series to previous canon Star Wars stuff with Bo-Katan and Ahsoka last week, and then obviously this week with Boba. Last week's episode was my favorite of the entire. Yeah,
spoiler alert.
The entire sorry. Last week's episode was my favorite episode of the entire series. There were little bits about it that I didn't like, but I loved the feeling that you got from when Ahsoka saw Grogu. I liked the feeling of an old westerny setting, especially between Michael Biehn and Mando. It was like watching Johnny Ringo versus Doc Holliday in Tombstone. So my overall opinion of the show is it's really good with very few weak points, but points that they can improve on.
Yeah, I pretty much will echo your sentiments. There's one specific thing that I could say, though, that makes me attracted to the show as a whole, and that's the simplicity of it. And I think that kind of comes in line with what you were saying about it being episodic. It's almost like traditional television. With that, obviously, that connective tissue of who Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, is. But I love how when I'm watching it, I can pretty much switch off to enjoy it. It's all about just being there for the ride. There's it's not going to win any Oscars, or it could win an Emmy, I'm sure. But that's not what it's going for. I think the people behind it obviously are familiar with Star Wars and television. They've already done a great job with the cartoon series, and they also know quite well what Star Wars fans want.
Yeah.
And I guess we're in spoiler territory. I was going to get there when we start reviewing the episode, but I don't. Whilst I have the thought in my mind, I want to brush on it real quick. But Boba Fett never interested me. As far as I'm concerned, Boba Fett was just little side character villain who died falling into the Sarlacc pit. And I know there's theories, or even now I guess it's canonized, a reason why he's still alive and still around. But after today's episode, I'm a Boba Fett fan. I absolutely loved the way he was utilized, and I even did get a little bit of the spine tingles when he showed up finally. And I'll tell you now, this is why I think these guys know what they're doing when it comes to Star Wars, because Boba Fett as a character is kind of like, it's almost like a cult following, right? Like cult films. Well, he's a cult character. Because there was no substance to him, but people latched onto him and people loved him. And I am aware of his participation in the Star Wars comic that was released, so I did kind of know that he was still around. But like I said, I didn't know how or why. I just took it for granted. But now seeing him in today's episode, that to me, the way he was portrayed, it sums up exactly why people love him. It's almost like the people behind the script did all their research. He went around talking to all these Star Wars fans and saying, what is it you love about Boba? Why do you love Boba? Why is he such a fan favorite? And then they just took that and just threw it on the screen.
Yeah. I liked the fact that I've heard a lot of people say is, oh, well, why are you trying to connect this way? Well, why not? They already had a character written. They had a character that people reckon, and this is a key thing that Lucasfilm and Disney are thinking about. He's easily recognizable. Whereas if you bring in a new character, you've now got to flesh them out and sell them marketing-wise. You got to say, look, this is a new character. This is what it looks like. Fall in love with him. Whereas Boba Fett, everybody knew what he looked like. Why do you think that the child Force user could have been anything? Could have been a human, could have been a Twi'lek, it could have been any alien, but they picked Baby Yoda.
Yeah, but
genius marketing.
I just want to touch there, though. I'm very happy, though, that he's not like a clone of Yoda. I'm happy he's his own character.
But they picked that species because of how it would resonate with people.
Yeah.
I say, they could have picked a Twi'leks. They could have picked a Tortuga. Is it a Tortuga?
Togruta, I think, is what it is. Yeah.
They could have picked a baby Greedo, and it wouldn't resonate. But look how quickly
Baby Greedo would have worked quite well, if you ask me.
Look how quickly, though, Baby Yoda caught on.
Yeah.
So
and that comes back to my overall opinions of The Mandalorian, and why to me it's just such a simple, quaint little TV show about this guy and his adventures in the world of Star Wars. It's perfect.
If you look at it, they were trying to write a Western in space. So how do we do it? Well, let's pick a race of the main character. Mandalorians are steeped in mystery. We'll pick a Mandalorian, and then we'll sprinkle it with a few things that people are familiar with, and add new stuff. And it's blown up. It's been very clever, and Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau probably know Star Wars better than anybody at Lucasfilm at the moment. They have their finger on the pulse of what the fans want, without going too over the top fan service, like a certain thing we know about. They are taking what fans like and doing a really good job with it, rather than taking what fans like, smashing it all together and calling it a 2.5-hour movie.
And simplicity, though, it works in favor in that situation, right? Because it's what's the saying? Less is more. And
yes,
that sums up this show in a nutshell for me. And I kind of digressed a little bit. So that's my overall feelings of the show as a whole. But so my summary of season 2 so far, I actually loved the first episode. I really liked the character. Oh, I wrote all the character names down, but I forgot his Oliphant's character. What's he called?
Chad somebody.
Cad.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure you've seen the show. You know who I'm talking about. I loved his character. Found him really endearing. I liked the relationship between him and Mando, and I loved the whole the Tusken Raiders teaming up with those people in the village. I thought it was great.
they're exactly what they've done there is what they're doing with Boba Fett. A complete side character out of A New Hope, which then were massacred in Attack of the Clones. Very few appearances, and now they're flushed out as a proper species. And there was no need to introduce or invent a new species because you had a species already there to do it with. So they did that exceptionally well. And now, rather than Tusken Raiders just being savages, we know they're a community that communicates with each other through sign language, and so they're doing things very well.
To be absolutely fair, they did kind of do that already with the Attack of the Clones, with Anakin's rant about killing the women and the children. But I agree.
Yeah, they didn't really flesh them out though. They just were like lightsaber fodder.
They made it though so that hey, look, they're not just mindless murderers, right?
Yeah,
they have families and there are women and children. But yeah, so then my opinion kind of differs a little bit because the show kind of lost me after that in the second season. Again with the episode with the frog, it's touching and all, but it didn't. I'm not going to go back and watch that ever again. And then I didn't have the same connection with the Mandalorian, Bo-Katan and her friends as most people. The action was good. I think there's also the episode where we go back and we meet up with Kara. That episode was a little bit more interesting. The episode with Jean's guy. I thought that episode was. I don't like using this word. You hear people using the word filler all the time, but it feels like that episode was kind of filler, just to like bring us back and let us know what was going on with these characters. But also, hey, look, there's a nefarious scheme going on in the background in regards to Baby Yoda. It started to get me back pretty much with the Ahsoka episode, and not because of Ahsoka. Yeah, you know me well when it comes to Star Wars. I'm not a fan of flippy lightsaber battles or the Jedi stuff. I'm more of a Han Solo guy. I like the guy shoots first, wild, roguish, smuggling guy. That's why I love Mando so much. But the reason I like that episode so much was yes, there's the connectivity with Rebels and Clone Wars. That was cute, and I really liked Rosario Dawson's portrayal. But ultimately, it was what did you what was the word you used? Westerny. It's because the episode
was like watching a western.
Oh yeah, it's super engaging. Really pulled me in. Even with the Thrawn name drop, I could have cared less. To me, it was just the whole showdown at high noon. And also kind of like you had like the samurai, the battle with the Beskar spear and the lightsabers, and then you had the pistols at high noon situation with Michael Biehn and Mando.
Well, that was a phenomenal throwback to Tombstone, because when Doc Holliday turns up in Wyatt Earp's place to have a gun showdown with Johnny Ringo says, "I got no quarrel with you, Holliday." And he says the exact same. He goes, "I got no quarrel with you, Mando." So they used the same line as a throwback from Tombstone. Because Michael Biehn plays Johnny Ringo, and he calls out Wyatt Earp, Kurt Russell's character. But Doc Holliday's on his deathbed, so Wyatt Earp knows he can't beat Johnny Ringo because Johnny Ringo's the second fastest gun in the West behind Doc Holliday. But Doc literally gets himself out of bed, and he's literally dying of tuberculosis, and shows up in Wyatt Earp's place without Wyatt knowing it. And so Johnny Ringo don't want to fight him, so he says, "I got no quarrel with you, Holliday." And he says the exact same thing to Mando in the episode. He says, "I got no quarrel with you, Mando."
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
So it was a throwback from Michael Bihn's character in Tombstone put in this movie, which I thought was a really nice nugget.
So yeah, if you're a big fan of westerns, you're definitely going to love this show. So anyway, that's pretty much that's our summary of the show so far. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of this actual episode. It's The Mandalorian Chapter 14, The Tragedy. Now, I've got my notes. I wrote my notes down. We're going to go through the episode, not quite scene by scene, just beat by beat. And we'll discuss as we go. Now, the episode opens. We've got the Razor Crest flying through space on the way to the new planet. Again, I didn't write that down. Do you remember the name of the planet? Typhon.
Typhoid?
It's Typhon.
Teflon.
And it opens up with a really, really cute bit where where Mando, he keeps saying his name. It's like, oh, he likes the reaction of him saying his name. It's almost like, I hate to make this comparison, but it's almost like talking to your pet, right? Talking to your dog. You're like, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? But I thought that was really nice, and he's like trying to train him how to pull the little ball to him and whatnot using the Force. And he gets angry though, and I didn't understand why. I wasn't sure what it was.
No, what do you mean he gets angry?
Well, when he pulls it at him, he pulls it really fast, and he gets mad.
No, we don't get.
And
mad.
he says, "Sorry, he says, "I'm not getting angry at you this week." He says that.
Yeah, but he's not getting angry though. It's his sheer elation because remember, Mando's never seen anything of the Force. He can't believe what this kid could do, and he's pulling it out of his hand. So it's like a wow, awesome kind of thing. But Grogu takes it like
he reacts that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mando's like happy, and it said like an exclamation of "That's awesome." But Grogu, just because he's shouting, Grogu's just shocked. Because remember, for the entire season, what's he been telling him about the ball? No, it's not to be played with.
Yeah.
So Grogu thinks he's shouting at him, but he's not. He's just elated that this kid has that power.
So that adds to the overall cuteness of the scene then. And this is why we have these discussions, because anything that I miss, you might have got. Anything you miss, I might have got. So anyway, they continue on. The Razor Crest lands, and they find the ancient temple. And they can't land nearby, so you get this cute little scene again of him flying with him.
Drive with the windows down.
Yeah, that's the line, and it is really nice. I love the it's a puppet, right? Baby Yoda.
I think some of it is, yeah, probably. It might be all CGI.
Yeah, they use CGI sparingly, and so he gets there, and I wasn't expecting the visual effect. But it was kind of cool how he places him on the rock, expecting him to do what he's got to do, and it doesn't happen.
He's like, "Is there a switch?"
Yeah, and then we get that moment where Slave One comes flying in, and he sees and he looks up, and he's like, "Oh, we got to go," and he turns back, and all of a sudden there's this big blue force field sticking up.
Yeah,
it's almost like Jedi from a video game kind of moment. But that's that to me.
Did you not get a Weathertop vibe from that?
Now that you say it, yeah, the set design is very similar.
I was like, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, man, Ringwraith's going to be coming over the hill. So, but did you notice as well when he sat though once the blue, what do they call it, sky beam goes up? Did you see he sat there with his fingers and he's meditating?
That's the kind of detail I probably have to look back, but sure.
Which probably means he's a little older than a child because he's actually sat there. Probably doing something he was taught in the Jedi Temple on how to meditate to connect through the Force.
Well, we know from the previous episode, Ahsoka says he's had training.
Yeah, and this is him. The show showing us that he's got training because he's now sat on this, let's call it the summoning rock, and he's sat meditating, generating this field around him.
I call it the quick save point.
Quick save point.
Because if you play Jedi Fallen Order, you do quick saves by meditating, and the little blue force field comes up and whatnot. So you got to play that game. So anyway, yes. So Slave One comes in, and Mando's like, being that really protective father figure that he's been, and he's trying to get him out of it, but he can't penetrate the force field, and so he goes down to confront. And anyone who recognizes that ship knows already who's on board. But there's one character shows up who, I guess if you watched the previously on, you expect it, but if you don't, and like I didn't, then you were shocked when and it's Fennec Shand from season 1, who
I wasn't shocked, but what I think they did there was they realized that Ming-Na Wen was such a great actress that why bother bringing in another character when we could just, because it was kind of because we thought she was dead. Now they did say, look, I've got now a mechanical stomach, but
that's what that was.
Yeah,
I thought it was. I thought it was insinuating she was a droid of some kind.
Oh, that says to me though she was more fixed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's weird. What? So she's got mechanical bowels now?
No, but she gets shot, so we assume that. And the funny thing was, everybody said at the end of that episode in season 1, when the legs come walking in, I'd say 98% of people said that's Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And it turned out it was. Now, how they got it from that, I have no idea. Because the season was fairly new, I was like, well, I'm not even going to guess who they're going to bring into this. but it turned out to be Boba Fett, and he did save her, and now she's working for him.
Well, that's why I said it at the beginning of the stream that the character Boba Fett he's incredibly. People are so fanatical about him. He's got such a cult following. There was so many people who were just waiting for a moment to be like, "Oh, I bet that's Boba Fett." So, and sometimes you're going to predict correctly, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, they meet up with them, and it turns out that he's not here for any nefarious reasons whatsoever. He just wants his armor back. And I thought that okay, it's great. He's not gonna be the villain. Because they kind of set it up that way, right? Because Fennec is up with she's got the sniper aimed on Grogu,
yeah,
and it's like, oh no, what's going to happen? But then it's very quickly revealed that they don't really have any ill meaning towards him. They just want the armor, and at that moment, stormtroopers arrive.
Well, let's talk about how good it was to see. Is it Tamuri Morrison?
Well, yeah, okay. Well, let's get into a little discussion about that then, because I have a few opinions.
Well, because you don't like the fact that basically in the Empire Strikes Back, they've changed his voice to be his voice from the original actor, and basically kind of written that guy out of canon. Do you?
No, I think that exactly. We've obviously had this talk before, and I think I thought it was very disrespectful at the time, and I wouldn't have any problem with him being like playing Boba now if they hadn't have changed his voice, because at least that way you could still say that.
Yeah,
you keep the guy's he gets his credit for his voiceover, but I'm pretty sure the guy who does the voiceover also is the actor inside, because that's where I feel really icky about it. Because you've got an actor
putting
inside
somebody else's voice over.
Yeah.
So
like his estate must have been really pissed off when that happened.
All I'll say there, though, Michael, is the greatest movie villain ever in the history of movie cinema is David Prowse with James Earl Jones's voice.
Yeah, but that was by design. That was done that way.
It was by design.
Rest in peace, David Prowse.
David Prowse, yeah. But that's the same situation. They obviously, from what happened in the prequels, I can't even remember how different his voice was. But obviously, now that we knew that Boba was a clone, he had to sound like Jango.
Yeah. But I got his name here. I'm going to butcher it, but I believe it's Temuera Morrison.
Tamuri Morrison, yeah.
Or Timera? You don't pronounce the U? Okay.
I don't think you have to pronounce the U. But...
So, I mean, other than that, yeah, sure. I immediately got pulled into the action after anyway, and that kind of made me forget all about that.
Well, the action was awesome, but the first thing that came to my head is, I want to know how he got out the Sarlacc.
Well, there's lots of theories about that. I'm kind of hoping
I think
we don't find out. Just don't worry about it.
Well,
less is more.
Well, no, because he obviously got out and then lost his armor. How did that happen? Because he went into the Sarlacc with his armor on. So I'm from what Beskar's done so far, I'm guessing the Beskar protected him in the Sarlacc's stomach. That's why he survived.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. This is why it would be nice if we had some viewers in the side chat. But the legend version of the events were that he detonates his backpack, his rocket pack. And it kills the Sarlacc, and he's able, and it blasts him out of the pit. However, but it's still working and functioning just fine though in the show. Yeah, so that can't be the reason.
Well, no, he might have just launched the rocket off that he had at the time into the Sarlacc's intestine. Yeah, but obviously the Beskar is what protected him and saved him from stomach acid.
Well, also it takes 1,000 years, remember? So you could be in there a day and barely anything happens, just get a few burns.
That's true. But obviously he gets out and loses the armor somehow. So
well, I would imagine. Let's just say for the sake of argument that it's his jetpack helps him get out. He probably lands and he's passed out. He's passed out. He's out cold, and the people
those stinking Jawas.
Yeah, people or yeah, they came across him and probably either they helped him or they just stole him and left him for dead, and then someone else came and helped him. But either way, you don't have to make this too complicated. It's what's great about the show.
Did you think it was Stormtroopers showing up, or did you think it was someone else?
Oh yeah, I knew it was the Empire immediately.
Yeah, you didn't think it was who Grogu was
No, there's no way that,
conversing with?
that's going to be a big reveal. There's no way that was going to happen in the episode.
Right. Okay.
Simple, remember. Keep things simple.
Yeah. Well, they have. I love the fact that they keep bringing out the stormtroopers are complete crap.
Yeah.
It's
Well, yeah, because that fight is ridiculous. It's some great action, but those stormtroopers can't hit anything.
I tell you, right. Just going on to the fight. And if people don't know what I'm on about here, you should go search it. But when she kicks the boulder, all I could think of was the boulder challenge from Takeshi's Castle, or what was it called over here? Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, where they put the boulder down and they have to run it. That's all I could think about when I saw that.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's something that they're leaning into when it comes to the action, right? They're trying to keep it family friendly.
Lighthearted.
Yeah.
Apart from Boba Fett smashing people's faces to pieces with his staff.
Yeah, but again, it's just the helmet's fracturing away, right?
Well,
you don't see any blood or anything.
No, but the violence was kicked up a notch in this episode. Did you see why?
No, go ahead.
It was directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, so it definitely had that vibe about it. That was a bit more violent than other episodes. Like, because we've never seen anyone smash a stormtrooper's face like that in any Star Wars canon.
No.
And then stab them straight through the chest with his spear. So the violence was definitely.
It's still not very graphic, though. It's a little bit more intense.
It was. It was turned up a notch, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because I only watched it this morning. I need to watch it again. I'm trying to think. There was some really impressive moments. Like I really enjoyed watching Fennec when she was getting surrounded, and then when she starts teaming up with Mando and they kind of working together. I really enjoyed that. But the highlight of the action is when Boba shows up in his armor and he comes flying and he comes landing down. That's when I got the spine tingles, and I was just like, okay, I'm a Boba fan now.
I didn't get the spine tingles from it like you did, but I like that sequence. It's a bit disappointing he didn't have his rifle with him, which most of us have got to use in Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah.
But one thing I just want to bring about Mando. So when they come to that standoff and he says, "Drop your guns," and they say, "Drop your jetpack." When he then runs up to try and save Grogu, why is he sometimes so stupid that he didn't pick up his jetpack and put his jetpack back on? Because he runs up the mountain, but his jetpack's down to the left. The time it would have taken to put his jetpack on and then fly up there, but he doesn't. He runs up.
Well, because he's not perfect, right? He's flawed. It's one of the best
what I was
things.
thought about. I was like, why didn't you put your jetpack back on?
This is one of the things that I like about the character. I like that he's flawed and he makes mistakes. He's not this perfect acrobatic Jedi, like these altruistic awesome beings. He's just doing what he thinks is right and getting caught up in the heat of the moment. And I think his flawed nature is revealed quite a lot throughout the first and second seasons to this point. Yes, he's a badass fighter, but he's not perfect, and he makes mistakes.
So obviously you got the tingles from when Boba shows up and does some ass kicking.
Well, hold on. Let's not push past too much because we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. There's one last moment in that fight scene where the fight scene ends, which had me. I wanted to cheer. I'm not that kind of person though, but I could
when he blows up the ship.
I could imagine if this was an Impact movie theater, people would have cheered at that moment. Yeah, when he shoots his rocket and Mando's like, "Great shot!" Like I was aiming for the other one.
Yeah, I like the humor was good.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Well, so before I move on, were you going to brush on something that happens in this part of the episode, or
no? Again, I thought the effects were fantastic for a TV show. Some of the effects in this production is not just this episode, but in this series as a whole, is excellent.
And for considering a lot of it is filmed on 4K screens. Like that blew my mind when I learned about that.
Yeah.
So after the fighting ensues and whatnot, and after he destroys the two shuttles, the Moff Gideon is like, enough's enough, and he sends a laser bolt down and he destroys the Razor Crest. And I was
that shocked me a little.
Yeah, I was, oh shit, the stakes. You
Well,
really
I like the fact though that the way they did it, that we thought that these ships were just, we didn't think, because I didn't instantly think these are just shuttles. I thought these were ships that have been following them. But then when that laser bolt comes from the battle cruiser, we then obviously know that they're just shuttles and there's something else bigger above them. Mm-hmm. Up until that point, I didn't think that it was Moff Gideon was there. I just thought that 2 ships had just shown up.
Yeah, we don't see that Gideon's ship has arrived. We see Gideon on the ship earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
But it does, because I mean, it comes as a surprise to Bubba, because he mentioned, we'll get to that bit. But when I think it's immediately after the destruction of the Razor Crest, it's kind of like a whoa moment. That's when he sends the Dark Troopers out.
Now that was more spine tingling for me than Boba Fett showing up.
What, the Dark Troopers?
Yes, because they're the personal protection droids for Grand Admiral Thrawn in Rebels.
I see. I had no idea. I didn't know what that was.
Grand Admiral Thrawn uses those in Rebels.
I thought he used the ones, the troopers with the small brains, the ones who were from Rogue One.
Which one's from Rogue One?
They're in black armor, but they're not. They're like actual people.
No. He used robots once, and there's a scene where I think it's Chopper corrupts them, and Thrawn has to take out like 6 of them in a room, and he does.
Oh, okay.
Single-handedly.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and watch that series again.
Which says to me that Gideon's working for Thrawn.
Well, they both work for the Empire, and if Thrawn is still around, which obviously he is, because why would they be name dropping him?
Ahsoka be looking for him? Yeah.
Exactly.
So when I saw those, because I believe in the last episode where we saw Gideon on his ship and it panned back, it was very dark. But I think some people, this is how crazy some fans go into it. Some people kind of like took a screenshot, lightened it all up, and saw that those were the troopers in the base. So somebody suggested that maybe that's what it was, and then obviously we saw that that's what it was.
Yeah, see, and I had no idea. This is how I like to enjoy my media. I like to go in blind as much as I possibly can.
Yeah. So when they showed up, that gave me more of a spine-tingly feeling than Boba Fett turning up.
Yes, I find that shocking, because at least Boba Fett is something from your childhood. It's something from the original movies.
Yeah, but again, for me, like from the child, I'm not one of these who were on the Boba Fett.
No, neither was I.
Yeah. So when he showed up, it was like, all right, good. It's good to have another character in, and I like the name drops and all that.
But that's what I was saying earlier, is that this Boba Fett that we saw today in the tragedy, he's not the Boba Fett from the movies, really. This is the Boba Fett that all of the fans of Boba Fett, these cult fanatic fans of Boba Fett, have created over the years. That's what we're seeing. Because he wasn't a real character. Like, you can't pretend that Lucas had any idea what he was.
He's no good to me, dead.
Yeah.
All right.
He's just this henchman who's after Han Solo. That was it. So the character that we saw today, for all intents and purposes, is almost a fan creation.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah.
But then again, you see the it was convenient timing that just as the Dark Troopers landed is when Grogu comes out of his meditation.
Yeah, because that protective force field would have been really useful there, wouldn't it?
It would have been really useful at that point.
Yeah, so that brings us to the next point. So he's trying to get back up to Grogu, but he can't get through the force field. So he's like, okay, kid, I'm gonna give you some time, and he goes, and that's when he goes and joins up with Fennec, and then he finally snaps out of it, and the Dark Troopers come down and they whisk him away, and then after that.
A jetpack would have come in really useful at that point.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Like, we'll get over it. So, and at that point, Mando tells Boba about it. So Boba goes in chase. He chases after him in Slave One, He's like, they got the kid, go after him. And he says, oh, I don't want to risk killing him. So he says, I'll just go have a little look-see. And he flies up above the clouds. He sees the light cruiser, Star Destroyer thing. And he's like, oh, they've returned. They're back. Which was a kind of a puzzling moment for me, actually, because I was like, yeah.
Yeah, but
we knew this, didn't we?
Yeah, but Boba Fett might have not known that, though.
Yeah, but it's the way he says it. It's almost like this is an information dump for the audience.
But we've seen him at the base. We've seen him fight Gideon at the end of season 1. So for Mando, it's not a shock.
But I think it was designed to kind of build the world up a little bit, because Fennec says, oh, how can that be? I thought the New Republic is in control of the Outer Rim. So it's trying to tell the audience this is what the political situation is, and that's, to me, that's where this show, like, it needs to stay away from that. Stay away from that
people
stupidity.
Sat around in circles talking about politics and
exactly.
Stay
So he doesn't want to risk hurting him, so they give up the chase, and they zoom out, hyperspace out of there, which is weird. I can't remember. Have we ever seen a ship go to hyperspace while still in atmosphere? I guess in Rogue One, when they're escaping the destruction on Jeddah.
Yeah.
And we come down to the planet, and we're seeing Mando. He's kind of rummaging through the wreckage of the ship. He's mourning the fact that Grogu's been kidnapped. He's been taken away, and he finds the little ball, and he finds the Beskar spear, and we have the moment where he goes up to Boba and Fennec, and Boba basically says, I can't leave just yet. My part of the deal. I haven't done my part of the deal. And Mando's like, what do you mean? Well, because earlier they were basically, in order to team up, they were like, I'll give you the Beskar back, if the armor back, if you help me protect the kid. And seeing as how Grogu's now been kidnapped, Boba and Fennec say, yeah, we're sworn to you now until we help you get them back. So this is great. It's teamwork, making the dream work. I feel like we're gonna have a big ensemble set up come the end of the season with all these characters.
That's basically what happened at the end of season 1.
And we do before we go on, we do get a little bit of canon clarification during that scene where Boba is where he's proving to him that this is his armor. He says
the record, the lineage.
It belonged to Jango Fett, who was a foundling,
like Mando was.
So it's basically, Jango is a Mandalorian, confirmed. Which is funny because I forget which director it was specifically, but there was a director who had basically come out, I think, in 2017 and said straight up Jango isn't a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So they've obviously thrown that away, and I like that. I'm glad we finally have an explanation for where Jango, aka the clones, all come from. He had it made for him,
and then after that part, you come to one of my favorite parts of the episode.
Back up on the ship. This is
where Grogu's kicking people's asses.
Yeah, but it's meant to be, I think, a little scary though. It's kind of touching on what Ahsoka said in the previous episode, reminiscing about Anakin and saying, like he's got too much anger in him. Like the things he's doing to those stormtroopers, that's not good. That's not good stuff. That leads to the dark side. Yeah,
but if he is still a child in his species who's had training, then that's how a child with power would react if they were caught.
Mm-hmm. Does this happen before Mando returns to Navarro?
I think that's. Yeah, so I think he goes to Navarro first.
He goes to Navarro, speaks to Cara, and says basically he wants to get Mayfield out of prison, which is Bill Burr's character. Yeah. So we're gonna have we're gonna have this big ensemble.
Yeah, ensemble. Yeah, like she won't go because she's now legit, but you might get Carl Weathers and him. Would anybody else? Is there anybody else out there that they could?
I think Cara Dune will be there. Because when he says they have the kid, she changes her tone.
Yeah, she does change her tone a little.
So she'll be there. You got Cara Dune. I forget Carl Weathers' character name as well. I forgot to write him down. It wouldn't surprise me if we have Timothy Olyphant's character show up. Maybe.
Yeah.
Just like a complete army of smugglers and mercenaries.
You reckon there'll be 7 of them?
That's my kind of Star Wars.
Yeah. So, and then obviously you've got the Force, and the reveal at the end in that they call the kid the donor.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I when I was reading the summary, I don't remember hearing this myself, but apparently midichlorians was mentioned.
No, that was in the first Navarro episode. When they're watching the holographic recording of the Doctor from the first season, he says he's got the excuse me. He says he's got a very high M count.
Okay, all right. Because in my opinion, as much as the midichlorian thing never really bothered me, there's definitely one way you can sour people onto a Star Wars product, and that's by mentioning
I think
midichlorians.
that's honestly, that's all I think you'll hear. The M count, that's all you'll hear. You'll never hear a midichlorians again. That was just a throwback.
Well, we have a very. Go on.
Why do you think they, or who do you think he's doning? Who's the donor for?
So the character is Dr. Pershing. Is that the guy who we saw in season 1, who helped? Yeah. He says I didn't hurt him, and he helps him escape.
He just took the blood.
So you mean who above that?
Well, yeah. Why do they need a donor? Who is he donating it to?
Well, we saw on Navarro, in the base on Navarro, there was something going on there.
Do you think that might be the basis of the building Snoke?
Or bringing Palpatine back?
I got the feeling from Crappy Rise of Skywalker that Palpatine's been back for years, and that's why he's a decaying. But they would have had to create Snoke from something.
Yeah. Well, this is we'll get into that. Let's basically this is the end of the episode now. Going back to the Grogu in the cell fighting, and Gideon comes in, and Gideon obviously he's not. I don't think he's a Force user, but he obviously he's got an imposing presence because Grogu is now all like he's all forced out and whatnot, and he's trying to
still wants to get his hand on the lightsaber.
Yeah,
though.
well, that's what I was going to say. And Gideon taunts him. He pulls out the darksaber, and he's like, "Are you familiar with one of these?" And
which he obviously is.
Yeah, I really like the character of Gideon. I love that actor though. He's such a great villain in just about everything he's been in.
He's also good when he's not a villain. He's just a great actor all around.
I do like him as a villain though. And that brings us to the end of the episode. I didn't miss anything, did I?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so that was episode 14 of the I guess episode.
How many's left?
Episode 6 of season 2, but chapter 14 of Mandalorian, the tragedy. We have 2 left.
2 left in there.
There's only 2 left, yeah. So we're building up to a big finale here, and this is why I said we'll brush on what you were talking about there. The good way to end the stream, I think, would be to maybe go into a little bit of something I hate, but let's do it anyway. Let's
fairy craft the hell out of this.
Yeah. Where do you think this is going?
Well, I'll put the questions to you, and you can tell me what you think, and then I'll let you know. So first off, like I said, they obviously want Grogu for his blood with his high M count to donate to somebody. Who do you think the donor is, or why do you think they need a donor?
So, the easy answer would be Thrawn, perhaps. But then again, Thrawn obviously is still just he serves someone else.
I don't think it would be Thrawn.
Well, no, but you know what I meant, though. It's like
Thrawn. Thrawn wants to. He's the puppet master that wants to. But what I'm saying is, who do they want? Who's the donor? Who's going to get the donated cells or whatever it is where I'm going with this. Like, is that how they made Snoke?
At this point, that can only be an assumption, because there's nothing in the show has really indicated that to me at all.
No, but we know from Rise of Skywalker that Snoke was manufactured by Palpatine. So now the thing you could say there is, why would Palpatine need Grogu's blood? He could just clone his own Sith cells. So why do they need Grogu's blood?
Well, you kind of answered your own question there. Because
that's why I'm asking you to theorycraft. Who do you think why do you think they need the blood?
I'm telling you, I don't know. It's that well of a crafted mystery to me.
Okay.
As of right now, I don't think there's much really in the text of the show that kind of hints at anything other than I guess maybe what you were alluding to yourself, that it's so that they can clone a Force user.
Yeah.
But again, though, why wouldn't he just use his own blood if Palpatine's in charge of this and he's in control?
Do these guys even know if Palpatine's back? Because obviously the First Order never knew that Palpatine was back.
Well, did you ever play the campaign for Battlefront 2?
No.
So you
never played Battlefront 2 at all.
Okay, so you find out in Battlefront 2 at the very end of the Battle of Endor, after Palpatine is killed, an order like Order 66 goes out across the Empire to essentially scuttle the Empire and completely annihilate and destroy the Empire. And my theory on that, and we're getting away from Mandalorian here, but I can try to tie it back. My theory from that is that the true Empire, or the true Sith Empire, exists outside the outer reaches, and the Empire was a figurehead situation put in place to essentially eradicate the Republic. And so when the Empire, when Palpatine failed to avoid the resources and the powers of the Empire falling into other people's hands, Palpatine had this backup plan to destroy that Empire, to make sure that Empire didn't outlive him, basically.
That's
so
deep.
Yeah, and this is from Star Wars Battlefront 2's campaign. It's probably the only real cool thing that campaign injected into the mythos. Yeah. At least that was my understanding of it. And so the indication is that the dark side Empire, Sith Empire, whatever you want to call it, has always existed on the outer reaches. And what happens in the original in the prequels and the original 3 is essentially that Empire's attempts of taking over the inner galaxy. And so
okay,
if they achieve that order of scuttling the Empire, then whoever's in charge in the outer reaches can now reset, start over, and start again. And hence the First Order, right? So you could. So I bring this back into the Mandalorian now by saying that Moff Gideon is a cell of the Empire. There's probably multiple cells still around, and it kind of goes against that protocol that the Emperor had left behind. Technically, Gideon should have destroyed all of his technology, all of his resources, cut himself off, if not killing himself.
But maybe that was because we know that Thrawn was taken to the regions of unknown space, not the outer regions, but unknown space at the end of Rebels by Ezra and those squid things.
That's what I meant by the outer reaches.
The
outer reaches is outside the outer rim.
Yeah, but Exegol's not in the outer reaches, and that's the home of the Sith, where the Emperor is.
The real home of the Sith is Korriban.
Korriban, yeah, no. But
I don't think. I think we don't know much about what Exegol actually is.
But that's where
Exegol is in the outer reaches.
It's not in the. But it's not in the unknown regions.
Well, the unknown regions are even further.
Yeah, that's where Thrawn is taken by Ezra.
Yeah.
So Ahsoka, obviously, at the end of Rebels, goes off with Sabine to look for Ezra. She's obviously come back. So has she come back given up? Or did she find him? If she found him, then that's probably why she's now looking for Thrawn, because if Ezra's made it back, Thrawn's probably made it back. We got the Dark Troopers, which were Thrawn's. They're back. So I've got a feeling the Mandalorian is going to probably try and stay away from Palpatine-ish stuff and maybe bring Thrawn in as the leader. And that's where we tie into now why Ahsoka's looking for him. Because maybe she's looking for him at the same time, and then she's working together with Ezra, and we might bring Ezra into the Mandalorian.
Well, and I definitely don't. I don't think they're going that deep with this season. This season's going to end with them getting.
I'm way down the rabbit hole at this moment.
I'm hoping.
So
I'm not a.
Let's go to another theory.
Hold on a second. I'm not a script writer, but I'm hoping. I'm hoping that this season basically goes as far as getting Grogu back and possibly a Jedi showing up and finding him. I think that's
what I was going to ask you now. Who do you think, first off, Grogu reached out to, and who do you think is going to answer the call?
Well, my understanding was he doesn't reach out. He just reaches out and someone
into the Force.
Someone responds, and it could be, I don't know, because like I say, with all of the expanded universe that they have now, there's a Jedi called Cal Kestis who is the protagonist of the video game Jedi Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it would be him, but it could.
Who would you like to see?
I think, because I don't want to see Luke. I know you love this whole idea of Sebastian Stan playing.
Why?
Luke.
Okay, tell me why you want to see.
We'll get there. Let me tell you who I want. I want it to be Ezra, because I think they've done a really good job of incorporating all of these characters from Filoni's TV series
without going into the main.
Yeah,
picking from the main pool.
So keep doing it. Bring Ezra into this situation, especially and if they're bringing Thrawn in. Well, who was with Thrawn? Who last saw Thrawn? When we last saw Thrawn, him and Ezra were together. So
yeah,
makes sense to me.
And Ezra's slightly older than Luke. I believe in Twin Sons, it looks like Luke's like a young kid, like maybe 4 or 5. Whereas Ezra's a teenager.
Well, Rebels takes place 15 years after the fall of the Republic.
No, that can't be right, because that then means Luke's 15.
Yeah.
See, yeah, and in the show, he
I know, but that is the official number.
Then Ezra and Luke are roughly the same age.
Yeah. So... I think that scene is just it's like he's a kid, like, so have him running around like a kid, and he's probably, a lot of people confuse that for like 5 or 6 years old, but yeah, the events of Rebels take place 15 years after the Order 66.
Man, Moff Gideon.
Because think about
Moff Gideon,
it.
Mon Mothma looks pretty. Well, actually, no. So, yeah. Because when Leia shows up, she's only a preteen.
Well, she's 15.
Yeah, I guess so then, yeah.
No, she's not a preteen. She's 15, 14,
yeah, she's
15. Yeah.
Because Leia's in season 2, so they kind of messed up the Twin Sons episode at the end there. Because
I don't think they did. I don't think they did. I think you're seeing like a kid running across the way. You don't really get the good shot of him. And some kids age faster than others.
So
when I was
Ezra's
15,
about 3 or 4 years older than Luke, so it could be Ezra then.
Of course. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Why couldn't it be? Sorry.
Wait. Well, it could be anybody.
Are they doing another season of Rebels again? I thought that was it.
No, that's it.
So then they bring if they are bringing the character back, it's going to be in something new.
All right, so
to me, it's the perfect choice.
You want it to be Ezra, and I want it to be Luke, and we already know who I want for Luke, because I want to see young Luke kick ass.
So can you clarify something for me?
Yeah.
That drawing of Sebastian Stan was a fan-made drawing.
Yes.
Right.
They basically pasted his face onto Luke, I think's Jedi body with his hair, and he looks so similar.
So it's like there's no hint that that's a thing.
No, it's not.
Okay, so you're just dreaming, basically.
Hey, if I put enough posts on Reddit, I can get Luke into the Mandalorian, because obviously enough posts in Reddit got Rise of Skywalker script
changed.
So if I just pummel Reddit with it, it's going to happen.
Yeah, sure. See, the reason I don't want Luke is because I stop it. Like, the universe is so small. Just stop it. Like, it's better when we go do new things. That's what's so frustrating about the sequel trilogy, really, because they started off so well with the first one. They brought in all these new characters to lead the way, with all of the old characters kind of being passing. They're kind of there passing on the torch. Whereas if you bring Luke back, it's like, I don't know, like, let Luke be. We know he's off training a new generation of Jedi.
Yeah, but you could have Luke introduce Grogu. To a 5-year-old Ben Solo.
Did he grow? No, Grogu.
Grogu. But yeah,
sorry,
you could have Luke introduce Grogu to a young Ben Solo.
And it couldn't be Ben Solo, who's the Jedi Padawan or whatever, because he's only like a bit like a toddler at this point.
Yeah, and then Grogu could be part of the new Jedi Temple that Ben eventually ends up fucking up.
Yeah, we're going way down the line there.
I'm so far down the rabbit hole I can't see light anymore.
Okay, so you're a real Star Wars fan now.
Yeah, honestly, from the way the series has been written, Ezra makes more sense, way more sense. Sebastian Stan as Luke would be better as probably a Luke standalone movie, if they were ever going to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see that. He does look like he fits the part.
Yeah.
And I would.
But you're definitely right for the season or for this series, The Mandalorian. Ezra makes more sense.
Well, I'm not definitely right.
No, but I'm saying in the consensus of the show, it makes more sense for Ezra to be the guy because we've had all these. We've had Ahsoka, we've had Boba Fett, we've had all these side characters throughout Star Wars lore. Why would you bring one of the big three in?
It could be Salacious Crumb for all I know.
Yeah, you might as well bring Palpatine back. If you're going to bring Luke Skywalker back, one of the big guys from the film. So you're probably right. It would make more sense from the show's perspective to have Ezra Bridger. Yeah. And again, then it would introduce... The good thing about doing that as well from a marketing point of view is people who don't give a crap about their cartoons saw Ahsoka in the last episode and were like, wow, she's awesome. Mm-hmm. How do I find out more about her? Well, you go watch Clone Wars, you go watch Rebels. Then if they bring Ezra in, I remember watching Rebels with Ahsoka. That's that Ezra Bridger guy. It brings more fans into all the extended stuff. And as I said, the series that Filoni's done, to me, are better than any of the movies in the past 20 years. So Clone Wars, Rebels, and now The Mandalorian are way better than any of the movies from the original three. Hands down.
Is there anyone we're missing that it could be?
Well, who's still out there that we know of? Could be Leia. Leia's a Jedi.
That'd be cool. Yeah, because at this point as well, she is training.
And she's also part of the New Republic.
But again, it'd be a bit hypocritical.
Again, why would you want to bring in such a big... It's hard to think about because there was never a definitive answer of who survived Order 66.
Well, the definitive answer is Obi-Wan and Yoda. But then we find out, obviously, since Disney have bought the rights, now there's a whole list of Jedi who have survived. There's Cal Kestis, there's Ezra Bridger, there's Ahsoka. Those are the only three that I can...
So was Cal Kestis a youngling that survived?
He's a young... Well, I don't want to ruin it because you're going to play the game.
Well, yeah, it's true. Okay, then. Yeah, because you've now got, as I say, you've got... We know Jedi survived, but we don't know exactly who or
Make
how many.
Someone up.
And, well, how about this? How about if it's not a Jedi that comes looking for him?
It's a Sith.
Because he reached out into the Force.
Yeah.
So that means any Force user could answer the call.
Could be Maul.
No, Maul's dead. Obi-Wan kills him.
Oh yeah,
on Tatooine.
He did, didn't he? But Obi-Wan killed him on Naboo.
Well, like he says in the last season of Clone Wars, he tells Ahsoka to be careful because he's very hard to kill.
Yeah.
No shit.
No, I completely forgot about that moment.
Yeah, Howard's one of the best parts of that show. It's awesome. It's such
well, no, I didn't forget about it. I forgot about it when I was taking it into consideration when we're discussing this.
It could be a complete other brand new Force user that we've never met who's just mentioned somewhere in.
And I would be absolutely fine with that. Like I said, I don't hate the whole concept of the Jedi, right? I love Obi-Wan, I love Luke Skywalker, but it's not my favorite thing about the Star Wars universe. So to me, I can take it or leave it, whether it's someone we know or not. I'd probably be happier if they wrote a new character into it. If you think how good they've done with what's his name, Din Djarin, is it?
Din Djarin.
Din Djarin, Djarin.
Yeah, DJ Djarin.
They've made a really great simple character there. Why can't they do it again with the Jedi?
But what's happened, though, is his character's been very good because he's been able to play off established characters. And that's a good way of building a new character. Have something that fans are familiar with to make. Because if you remember, fans are fickle. If you make everything new, it's scary. Scary. I don't like that.
Name one character in season 1 who wasn't brand new.
Who wasn't brand new? I should have to go back really and watch.
They're all there's no like none of the old crew, none of the rear guard whatsoever in season 1 of The Mandalorian.
And there's none that were even suggested, was there?
No. The closest we got to it in season 1 was her revealing to him, his people are known as the Jedi. That's the closest thing we get to any of that.
Yeah. So it could be someone completely new.
I guess technically Boba Fett is in it. Because you see his feet.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
But anyway, that's probably as far as we can go with this one, I think.
Well, if there's only 2 more episodes left, the one thing I would like to comment on, and I want to get your take on this, is for the season as a whole, do you like how one week it's a 32-minute episode and then the other week it's a 47-minute episode?
Doesn't bother me because if it's good television, I don't find it.
I want 47 minutes every week.
Let me give you a contrast here, because you know that I'm a fan of new Star Trek. Star Trek Discovery. I always find myself, even with this new season that's getting good, I always find myself looking at the time, being like, "Oh God, we've only got 20 minutes left. Is something going to happen?" When it comes to The Mandalorian, it always gets to the end, and I'm like, "Oh wow, that's it."
Yeah, but that's what annoys me. I'm like, "Oh man, is that it? 32 minutes?"
No, but it doesn't annoy me because it means that my hunger has been satiated. I'm only wanting more in like the form of another episode.
Yeah.
I rarely, and this is why I said I don't like earlier in the stream. I don't like using the whole idea of bitching about filler episodes, because for the most part, I don't even think The Mandalorian has had that many.
I don't think The Mandalorian's ever had a filler episode. I think
it's had some borderline ones.
No, it's had some boring episodes. But to me, they're not filler. Like, to me, filler is just an episode that if you take it out, the story will continue. Yeah. We're done. It's not. It is literally a separate episode every week that is very thinly tied together.
More often than not, though, when we get to the end of a Mandalorian episode, I'm usually like, "That was great. Can't wait till next week." I'm not thinking, "Oh, that's it. I want more."
That's the one thing they should add for season 3. Next week on The Mandalorian.
No, I don't like that stuff. I don't like that in Star Trek Discovery. It's like every episode there's a next time on Star Trek Discovery.
A sneak peek in next week's episode.
Completely ruins everything that's going to happen in the next episode.
Yeah, but that's their stupidity. The whole point is a sneak peek. You don't sneak peek in the next episode. We find out that Darth Vader's not really dead.
I just don't think sneak peeks in general work. You just stay away from them. But I think that's probably where we'll wrap it up. You have any final thoughts?
No. I just wish they brought them all out at once so I could binge watch them.
I appreciate it.
It's going to end just in time for the season 5 of The Expanse, which is perfect.
Yep. We'll probably be doing some live reactions to those as well, hopefully, if you're down for that. But before we go, though, we just want to give you an update on the channel. You should be expecting a new episode of What's the Point tomorrow. And I think you're going to really like the subject matter that we discuss. We had a pretty out there. Yeah, we had a pretty cool, interesting discussion. And
that's it, Michael.
Yeah,
I figured out I was going to come get Grogu.
Oh, who?
Death Sticks guy.
Oh, we forgot to talk about his name. He's called Sleaze Bagano.
No way!
Yeah, that's his name. Like, let me look up the full name, Sleaze Bagano.
Do you reckon if he did go home and rethink his life, he changed his name?
Hey, spoiler alert.
to Bob Bagano?
Yeah, his name is Elon Sleaze Bagano, and that's on Wikipedia.
Oh my god, yeah. I hope if he went home and rethought his life, he changed his name by default.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this live stream. We've had a few viewers here. Nobody's really chimed in, but like, we enjoy doing this, and we're going to keep doing this. So please, as it says in the little scrolly thing at the bottom of the page there, please like, share, dislike if you don't like it, all that jazz. Subscribe to the channel. And do you have any parting words?
No, as you said, subscribe.
Tune in tomorrow.
Like and hit the bell for notification.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night. playing the music.